Lights, camera, shake.
Wednesday. This is my friend Carole Rice, and I've just discovered that we've known each other for 8 or 9 years.
Yes, it's
That's
flown by.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I thought it was 2 or 3, but then I have dyscalculia, so time means nothing to me. Numbers means nothing.
It's brilliant. I like your world you live in. It sounds cool.
So, Carole, you were. What was your award? Coach of the Year?
I won the 2017 Best Coach of the Year and the Best Businesswoman's Awards.
Best Coach of the Year and the Best Businesswoman's Award. Carole is, the only networking thing I go to, I say this every month, don't I? Is Carole at Mayfair. We're not very posh, are we? But once a month, it's the last Wednesday of the month, we go to the Admiralty Pub on Trafalgar Square in Mayfair, and that is the one networking thing I do, and that's basically to be in your space.
I love the way you put that. I like to create an atmosphere. I've always been brought up with parties at home, and I like to make people feel welcome, to feel connected, to introduce people. To me, it's so effortless to connect people.
And I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen in that, in the space that you hold on at Trafalgar Square. So many people learn so much from all of it's the same as the men's groups actually. Everyone gets to show up, we learn from each other's successes, each other's failures, each other's learning edges, we share contacts, we share experience, and we're one big bunch of merry people.
And we're all helping and connecting each other. You're very helpful. You connect me to people, put me in touch with people. And we're not supposed to do this thing called business alone.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to do this thing called life on our own. So connection is everything. Now and forevermore. When you get older, it's the community you've built up around you will be looking after you when you are old and frail. And it's about reaching out, and it's about learning new things from new people, different cultures, different businesses, and seeing how we can connect and help each other and grow together. It's very hard to do this on your own.
Yeah, it so is. And one thing that I wanted to talk to you about is, I was saying earlier that I've never had a coach. The whole world is littered with coaches these days, and it's said that coaching is a training business where you actually not only train people to be coaches, but thankfully you also train people on how to run a coaching business, how to hold a good practice. Rather than you've done your training, now go away until you want to do another training. So on one hand, how do people work with coaches?
Well, I have this academy that was created 6 years ago now. We've been trying to work together to create world-class coaches, and I'm passionate about people not only becoming brilliant coaches but making money out of it and having a proper business from it, because a lot of people spend thousands of pounds on their coach training and have no idea about how to set up a business, and that's the important thing. You want to get clients, you want to make money. So why does anyone ever use a coach? Well, here's the bad news for all coaches out there. Nobody ever buys coaching. They don't wake up and do you know what I need to say? A whole load of coaching. What does that mean? What does that even mean? It's like what they buy is, I need help with my confidence. I need help because I'm stuck. I keep making the same errors and I don't know where to turn. I want to write a book but I don't know where to start. I've got a desperate idea for a business, but where do I begin? These are some of the reasons people come to a coach. So no one buys coaching. What they buy is the solution that we can help them with. And we come from the position that everyone has within them the answers. So as a coach, I don't have a special magic book of all the answers for you, but what I do is help you find your own answers by some laser listening, some clever questioning, and to challenge people to get out of the comfort zone, get over their fears, to really look what is true to them, connect with it, and allow it out. You do know what you want, but you're hidden it all away with your fears, your limiting beliefs, your culture, your I can't do this. Well, actually you can. And the coach is there to liberate you from yourself and to let the good stuff out in a way that feels supported, unconditionally supported. supported and contained and cheer led onwards, so that you feel that I'm really getting the right support. Family and friends can't do this for us. It sounds awful, but they're too close to us and they have an agenda. Mum, dad, brother, sister, wife, partner, rabbi, imam, doctor, shrink, all have an agenda. A coach is neutral, and that's a lovely, refreshing place for someone to come to. It's like, you've got no judgment, they're unconditionally supportive, and you can speak your truth in a place that is safe and supportive, and get it out there and see what is really behind all these feelings and blockages that we have. And that's the great privilege of being a coach, is that people tell you things they haven't told anyone before, because it's a safe place to come to.
One thing that I've heard you say that I've found so much as well is, as people want to make more of themselves, it could be the nearest and dearest that are the naysayers, that are, we don't want you to change, we don't want you to grow, who do you think you are, that's for other people, we like things as they are. And it's almost verging on, don't be too big for your boots, or don't abandon us. And that's a huge thing that people need to, it's almost like betraying the community, betraying the family.
It is, but also they do know us, and from a benign viewpoint, they care about us and they worry that we might be making the wrong decisions. Whereas a coach is saying, tell me about this. A family member or a partner might say, oh no, you've tried that before, it won't work. They already have the history on us, and they might say, well, you're a starter, not a finisher. Remember that exercise bike you bought and now it's a closed horse in the garage. It's like, okay. And saying, oh, really tell me what is motivating you to want this next thing in your life. And there's a freedom in that. I mean, someone is believing in you and helping you get there without all of the past mistakes that we've all made, dragging you down as some kind of blueprint. You didn't do it then, so you can't do it now. The coach is saying, let's see.
And generally, you named a few things. Is there a pattern to the type of people you attract for coaching? And is there a pattern of the type of people you attract who want to train as coaches?
I've had all sorts of clients, from lawyers, doctors, scientists, supermodels, lap dancers, athletes. Supermodels and lap dancers, scientists, bankers, startup entrepreneurs, CEOs, billionaires, daughters. I've had them all, but essentially we're all human beings. We all have this very similar, although we're all wonderfully unique and original, problems. And what they tend to come down to is the two most common problems are confidence, not having enough confidence. If we had all the confidence in the world, what would you do? What would you say to your partner, your boss? What would you try differently? And the second one is clarity. I don't know what I want. I don't know what the next step is for me after divorce or retirement or redundancy, or I've had enough. I don't know what I want next. And that is a horrible feeling, because you feel grey and foggy and you lose your purpose in life. And I think human beings need passion and purpose. When you've lost that purpose, it can dip into depression and wandering, drifting in life. How do you get clarity? The first thing is getting confidence. So when you know who you are, you know what you want. So the first step is finding out a little bit more of who you are, liking what you see, trusting what your strengths are, stepping into them, and then asking yourself, what would make me feel happy? What would get me out of bed in the morning? What would motivate me? You do know what you want. You just have to have the confidence to start looking for it, owning up to it, saying it out loud. Actually, I would love to do this.
What I understand of coaches is that coaches deal with the future, therapists deal with the past. Meanwhile, what you're talking about is getting to know who you are. Is that drawing from the past, and how do you deal with people with issues from the past?
We don't look back too much, because that is a therapist's job to look at pain from the past. Coaches are right this very minute in time and the future, who you are right now. Obviously the past does who we are, our yesterdays can create today, but equally our todays create tomorrows. So what you do today, this very day, whether you drink too much, eat too much, exercise, do some meditation, will affect tomorrow. So the investment you make in today creates your tomorrows. So what we do is, we might have, if someone's had some traumas or bad issues from the past, we look at them, but we don't dwell in it. We say, what would you like to happen? happen in the next 3 months, 6 months, or a year, or 5 years from now? Tell me more about it. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Is there a vision for it? Paint me the picture. What would it be like if that was your day? What do we have to do this very day to start moving towards that goal? Even if the goal is huge, I want a big house, I want an amazing business, I want to look completely different. What could you do today? One step. Also, the really important thing about this, Kenny, when you set goals is, what is the emotion that is behind the goal? So say someone said, I want a really big house on the hill, and I want a 6-figure bank account. Okay, what would that give you? Money, status. Okay, so you think it will give you status. What does that mean? Well, my family might respect me. Might. People will think I'm X, Y, and Z. You don't know that. They might not. They might think he's beyond us now. He might be the loneliest guy in the big house on the hill. So what is the emotion behind the goal? Could you have it today? Does it have to be? I'm not belittling big goals, but what you might be chasing could be a Pyrrhic picture if you get there and find it didn't give you what you thought it was going to give you, you know? So, like, people run the marathon and say, I felt a bit depressed afterwards. Why is that? I thought it would be this wonderful feeling of euphoria because you had an expectation of how you're going to feel. What if you could feel even training for the marathon was the goal?
So it's stripping it right back to what's really going on. Isn't real part of it? Is your company called Real Coaching?
Real Coaching Co. is keeping it real.
And that's one of the things that I believe that you do. Or I believe that we have in common. That it's about getting real. It's not about the fantasy. It's not about the fear. It's not about fixing. It's about getting real here and now and moving forward on something that's sustainable and grounded. Fair to say?
Fair to say, but one thing I would just to take you up on there is some people come to me with huge fantasies, amazingly large dreams, and I've seen extraordinary dreams come true with ordinary people just putting their nose to the stone and getting there. I've had clients write brilliant books from nothing, never written before, and selling 40,000 copies of that book. I've seen it happen. I've seen people achieve things, start their businesses, travel the world, do a vision board, show me it, and I see a lady in a sort of grey suit dancing with the Maasai warriors. If she'd come to me and I thought, there's no way she's going to be doing this amazing world tour. People do these extraordinary things when they really get in the flow and they really want it.
As long as that's alive and this is a fantasy and chasing the fantasy and keeping it a fantasy.
Well, the other thing is we have to be careful of our dreams because they really motivate us and we feel fantastic when we've got a vision that I'm going to be the next Oprah or you're going to be the next, Tony Robbins. It's a really great dream. If you don't get there, you can feel really down and your dreams become like plutonium. They start to become really toxic and you think, I'm not getting there, I haven't met the dream partner, I'm not earning the big money, and the dreams start to hurt you. So you have to be really careful of the dream being a motivator, not something to hurt yourself with. Also, it's the journey. It's not just happiness is over there in 3 years' time.
It's here and now.
Happiness is here and now. So, lovely journey ahead, but actually this is just as important this day as the big dream itself.
So, Christmas is coming, and you mentioned confidence. And one of the presents that I've bought a lot of people, what do you call it? The confidence package.
Comfortable confidence course.
Comfortable confidence course. It sounds like you're like an alliteration as I do.
That's my journalistic background. Because everybody wants more confidence to speak up in the office, to claim something, to tell their truth, to just do something, get out of the ordinary, start a dance. Speak a new language, but the confidence holds us back. So I do a downloadable 21 days to increase comfortable confidence with daily tips, and at the end of it you get a session with me. But it kind of like is little films along the way to give you things to think about, and it's playing to your strengths. Confidence doesn't mean being the loud bore at the bar and shouting and being dominant. It can mean quietly assertive, knowing I've said enough, I've made my point, get my own needs met. I don't mind about speaking up. That's quiet confidence, and it can be a very good thing. You don't have to be loud, you don't have to be overconfident, you just have to feel I'm representing myself as the best I possibly can. And once you've got that, you'll have a go at anything.
Yeah. So the confidence course, because as I say, I've bought it as a gift for a lot of people, and a lot of them have emailed me saying, give me feedback. So it's not just videos and exercises, but it's very active. It's very get some feedback, do some research. Where do people go to find it, and how much does it cost?
Yeah. It's £45, and you download it. It's on my website, The Real Coaching Co, or Google Carole Rice, and it's on there, and it comes into your inbox each day, so you've got something to do each day. For example, one of the it's a really tough one, and again, it takes confidence to do this. But ask like 5 people who know you really well, your really good mates or family members, to send you an email of 5 really good things about you, and 5 things they think you need help with. So you trust these people; they're not just going to be nasty or
The ones that really
love you. Person's really loyal. They're a really good person. They're really strong at this. Own it, allow it, accept it, be it. And if they say, I wish they just came out and played more often, I wish they showed up, I wish they didn't hide away, learn from that too, because these people want you to, and it's like learning about yourself, because a confident person, let me give you an example. The difference between a confident person and an underconfident person is exactly the same person. You go into the room, the confident person thinks, everyone in here is going to like me, I'm going to do my best, I'm going to be my best self here. The underconfident person, exactly the same amount of professional tools and experience in life, will be saying, nobody in here is going to like me, I will be rejected, I'm probably not going to be good enough. And it's the conversation we have in our heads. The confident person is thinking, I'll take on whatever comes and I'll do my best here. The underconfident person is going to be terrible, I'm going to fail, people don't want me, and it's all about our self-talk. It's just be kind to yourself and think the best for yourself.
That is so, I feel that's the core of my work as well, is what do I believe about myself? Where did it come from? Is it true here and now? And if it's not, can I let it go? Or do I need to somehow unlearn it? Or take care of that part? Or make peace with that time or that situation? And then move on?
That's a great tip.
Yeah.
Because we become what we believe.
Totally, that's exactly it. And it seems to be, on one hand, unlearning it. So we can not necessarily have to prove ourselves right about what we believe and keep surviving rather than living. On the other hand, it's what you said earlier, it's giving energy to what we want to grow rather than giving energy to what we want to go, which is crazy. Why feed the old story that needs to not come true anymore? But in a way, I would say with a lot of my clients, whether it's private clients or the groups, they are so much more comfortable surviving old scripts and knowing how to survive that rather than playing big, taking the risk of success, leave alone failure. How do you tackle that? Because surely a lot of people fight you for their own failure.
Well, they do, because our brains get stuck in a rut and we think this is how life is, and the human brain loves certainty, which is why the Brexit thing is creating such chaos with everybody. Everyone's feeling anxious. We want to know what's going to happen, but the brain does anyway. I want to know how my future is. I want to control over this next moment. So if this is how I've been, this is how I will be. When you go to a coach, we're saying, yeah, but it's not working for you.
Yeah.
And then there's a kind of seismic pulling apart of, actually, you're right, it isn't working for me. I'm not getting the dates, I'm not making the big bucks, I'm not getting the pals come round like I way of changing some of your negative or limiting beliefs. One of the things I get people to do, and I'd love your viewers to do this, is get a small notebook, a paper chase or Ryman's, and it's called Big Me Up book. And you write write down lovely little things about yourself that your friends say. Oh, you look good in navy blue. Or you always smell nice. You make a great cake. Write them down. Because these are positive things about yourself that we so easily dismiss. On my diary, every year on January the 1st, I write in the back all of these things that people have said about me. And when I'm having a wobbly day, hold on a minute, I am glamorous. I do bring magic wherever I go. I am sassy. I am, the grey days gone. I'm stepping back into myself because you can't argue with reality.
Yeah.
These are things that people have said that I know to be true about me. So, okay, some days you're not feeling it, but read your little big me up book. Yes, that's who I am.
So here's a funny one on that note, because Bertie and I were at breakfast this morning about going through negative emotions rather than avoiding them. And you know, there's so much medication and choose how you feel and all of that, which is all well and good. But where are you with allowing feeling bad and letting that pass, or is that a no-no?
To have a big wallow day sometimes, and I have what I call my misery memoir. No one's to read it, and it's I'm having such a bad day, and I hate it. When you read it a week's time, you think, who was that? Was that Edgar Allan Poe wrote this entry? You know, it's like, for goodness sake, get over yourself, girl. You know, and sometimes it's hormones, bad night, too much alcohol, tiredness, feeling a bit fluey, and so your mood's low. Write it all down somewhere, get it out, draw a picture
Get it
of
out
it,
of you rather than holding on to
it's
it and
another
being.
one of the visitors in your brain. Welcome them. Spy, you're feeling a bit dismal, depressed, resentful, angry, envious, jealous. It's okay. We all have unworthy thoughts sometimes. Don't hate yourself for them. Just having one of those days, write them down. And why? Why am I feeling it? Because someone did better at work than me. Okay. Could it be a call to arms? Is there something I'm not doing well that isn't getting? So think of it as what are these useful negative emotions telling me as well? How can I change it? What can I learn?
So you make space for everything.
Do you know, I am by nature default a misery guts.
Really?
I am absolutely, my default position is quite dark. Leonard Cohen and I, you know, we're like soulmates. And I became a coach because I wanted to learn the happiness tricks, and I know them all now. You know, I still go to dark places in my mind. It's okay. Melancholia is okay.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's like leaves falling from the tree. It has to happen for a reason.
Yeah.
I don't fight it now.
Yeah.
That's the difference. I don't feel bad about having melancholic days or dark days. I also I really relish my bright days. And it's that. It's just being comfortable with yourself.
So being with what is.
Yeah.
And the way that I term it is what's up that needs to be released or accepted, what's up that needs to pass. And generally I find that if there's something a bit dark up, then it's almost saying let me go or accept me or give me attention. And once you've allowed me to pass, then this is the gateway into the next level of goodness. So if you set me free, then there's good to allow the gold shadow. Fair to say?
Oh, definitely. Avoidance is what causes the problems.
Exactly.
Because you drink a lot, you might over-exercise, you might eat too much to avoid, or overwork, because you can't sit with the pain.
Yeah.
Sit with it and think, let it come like a wave, but the wave will go out again. The wave's not going to come in and stay. It will drift away again. And actually, if you do that, avoid it by going out and partying a lot and drinking loads, the pain will still be there.
Yeah.
The next day with a hangover.
Yeah.
Don't fight it. Look at it. What have I learned? What's really hurting my heart right now? And see if you can nurse it for a little bit, but don't try and down it, obliterate it, because it won't go.
Don't try and fill the hole with funny behaviour.
Funny behaviour.
What I also love that you do is the column.
Oh, yeah.
You are the only coach with a column in a national newspaper.
Every Monday I write Happy Monday in the Daily Express, and people have mixed views about the Express, but the one thing they did do was invest in a coach to spread the good news. And every day in life there's always good things, even on bad days. There's always, the sun came out, had a nice cake, whatever it was, you can find the good in people, and people are good essentially. They want to do good. No one chooses to do bad things. So I try and do a little happy thing every week. remind people that there is another side to life, share the good news, the good stories, the feel-good stuff. And I think that come and do that.
Absolutely.
And I get some lovely, lovely letters from people that make my heart swell.
Oh, that
and
must
really,
be great.
They cut out and keep and put me on the fridge. Job done.
Wow.
I sent this to my sister who's bereaved. I gave this to my auntie. I put it on the fridge or on my mirror, and I read your words. That is it. That's where I'd do it for nothing like that.
Yeah. And I love that Caroline called me coach, consultant, and guru of all things men. And I thought, what?
Well, you are the man whisperer and guru of all things men.
And you've also written some books?
A couple of books with a client, Sarah Ray. She came to me, she wanted to change her career, so we wrote a book, Find Your Dream Job, together with real case studies of people who had done that.
Right.
Really hated their job. How did they get from that to growing grapes and making their own wine in a beautiful vineyard? And it was a lot of ups and downs and wrong doors and wrong alleyways, but it was interesting inspirational stories of how people had found their dream job, and I provided the coaching notes. And the second book was Find Your Dream Business, Start Your Dream Business, sorry. And it was again, how do you go from nothing to starting a business you absolutely adore? Again with case studies and coaching notes to help you along the way. And they've done really well on Amazon, got 5 stars, second print run.
Wonderful.
Yeah, helpful books actually.
Wow. Actually, here's a bit of gossip. I'm not one to gossip, as you know. Lee, do you remember Lee?
Yes.
Lee Michael Walton.
Yeah.
So he released his Christmas single on the 7th of December, straight in to the Amazon Christmas charts at number 27, one above Jamie Callum.
Hooray! Well done. That's something.
Just like that.
That's something to say.
Absolutely
isn't it?
amazing. And it's a duet with Lee and a 12-year-old boy, father and son. Like, how often do you get father and son songs, or even the relationship between father and son acknowledged? Because usually absent fathers and, working fathers and fathers who survived the war. But there's something going on. I mean, I feel like I'm at the right time, at the right place with men in mental health, men in relationships, men in expression, men and fathers, men and sons, etc., etc. But yeah, I have really enjoyed bringing some of my favourite people, including my mother. Do you remember when my mother came to meet you at the? And it's now called
Fabulous Networking.
Fabulous Networking. So come and hang out with us.
Yes, do.
4th Wednesday of the month, Trafalgar Square, 10 to 12. Yeah.
And download my Christmas confidence course.
The confidence course is magnificent. And what blew me away is the confidence course itself is worth £45. But at the end of that, to have a session with you,
Which is worth £200.
which is worth £200. Like, that's a bargain.
Yeah.
If they're outside London, do you work on Skype or Zoom?
Work on Skype, Zoom, telephone,
So it's either in this posh hotel. Where are we, by the way?
Grand Hotel in just off Trafalgar Square.
The Grand Hotel.
Where I see my clients face to face.
And this is your corner.
My little corner, my coaching corner.
Coaching corner.
Because
Do you
actually,
remember?
luxury is one of my values,
Really?
and that means getting the best out of life. Drinking nice wines, using nice soap, even if it's just bar of soap. Make a nice bar of soap. It's a bit of luxury, Just like the best of things.
Do you know, I used to, as you know from my bell, be a Feng Shui consultant a long, long time ago. It's the same area in Feng Shui for self-worth, as well as wealth, as well as telling the truth, living the truth, being the truth. It's that alignment. So if I value myself and if I show up authentically, then surely that will be supported and reflected by the universe. So when you said about valuing yourself and luxury, well, don't step up and allow myself to believe in myself, then surely I'm telling everyone else, don't believe in me, prove me right. But if I believe in me, if I put it out, then other people have permission to. I feel this in the men's groups, so the men's groups kind of catchphrase is man up and talk about it. I am one, which is accepting myself, and I am one off, and I feel if I accept myself in the group of men, then the other men can have permission to accept me as well. And as I accept myself, and we've kind of all accepted the group, then it's about extending and going out into the world. So it kind of feels like on the same lines of living in luxury or authenticity.
Authenticity and what you'll naturally feel drawn to, which makes you feel good, it makes you feel secure, and it is one of your values in life. And luxury can be a value. It means that you drink cider out of a champagne glass. It's luxury. It's just it's your take on it. You know, choosing to walk on the pretty side of the road, not the rubbish bin side. I'm choosing to have this nice experience in my life. You know? And I think when you start to upgrade yourself and your self-esteem is high, other people, as you say, unconsciously gives them permission to do the same. Well, I'm tired using a nice bar of soap. Why don't I wear my best jumper today, Kenny? It's a
Do you
very
not
nice
like
Christmas.
it?
I love it.
Oh, good.
And you've got your best jumper on. And
Felt Christmassy.
wear your best gear, wear your best aftershave. Get out there, put your glitter shoes on. Don't save it for another rainy day. Wear it today.
Here
really
and
honour
now.
yourself. Yeah.
So, at the risk, we end with 3 Christmas tips, 3 New Year tips. What do you think?
Oh, that sounds really good. Yeah. So,
Shall we?
yes, let's do it.
Anything off the top of your head?
At Christmas, give yourself a lot of love. And we pass it on to others, but also really, if you're not happy with something, take a little bit of time out, walk the dog, go upstairs, sit somewhere quiet, go in the garden. Sometimes it can be overwhelming to put other people's needs first, but sometimes just 10 minutes on your own. Put your headspace app on or something and regather, because it's an enforced jollity that causes the grumpiness. You know, like you will be happy. Oh, I don't want to be happy.
Happy.
Yes. So love yourself enough to give yourself a bit of space. Don't overcommit. I would say don't feel forced to do things you don't want to do. You don't have to eat the whole of the buffet. I know some of us do. Step away from the buffet, and you don't have to have every liqueur and chocolate going just because it makes someone else feel better. But you're going to feel really dreadful the next day. So again, put your own needs first. You're still pleasing others, but you're also looking after yourself. And I think, you know, if you're feeling a bit sad, because Christmas is sometimes a time of looking back, nostalgia for years gone by, people who are not in our lives now. It's a very poignant time of year. It's very magical, very beautiful. But equally, if you feel sad, that's okay too, because a lot of people find Christmas unbearably sad. So, you know, take time out, do what you need to do there, have a coffee on your own, revisit memory lane. It's okay to not be part of the great juggle.
It's really interesting what you say about make space for yourself, because I find a lot of people can go bonkers with going back to the family, and suddenly a 50-year-old man turns into a 7-year-old boy acting out, being told what to do, and you know, it's like, well, where's there the space for me? And what I do every year is I put on online men's groups, so people can check in over Christmas and get a little bit of space to remember who they are, debrief about what's going on and what's being held, but it is make space for who you are, and also I would say know that the Christmas will pass, rather than, oh my God, I am that little boy and nothing's changed and this will go on forever. So yeah, I so agree with make space for who you are. But one thing that crossed my mind yesterday was also, I like the idea of compromise with boundaries. So rather than rebel everyone and everything, let the auntie kiss you on the cheek and do this a little bit, if it has to happen.
Afterwards,
Once, not all through. Allow some joy, give other people whatever it is they need for a little bit of joy, rather than it's all or it's nothing. So it's a funny one with boundaries, isn't it?
It's all about boundaries, what you allow and what you don't allow people to do to you. But be generous. It is the season of goodwill too. And we're all cranky and weird, and probably some people don't like what we do either. So give and take a little here. You know?
And New Year, I'm guessing that there are a lot of people that have their New Year's resolutions and think, right, thank God last year's over. This year I'm going to do it large. So do you have a lot of New Year's the New Year's resolution brigade knocking your door down saying,
Well, I have no truck with New Year's resolutions because as a life coach you can change your life at any second, at any moment, on any day
Yeah.
of the year. You don't need to do it on the coldest day when you're hungover, fat, or bloated, toxic, and broke. This is not a good start to changing your life, you know. So I would say with New Year's resolutions, make them realistic. Don't say I'm going to drop 3 dress sizes in a month. You're not.
yeah,
You set a very long deadline. Don't forget January and February are really dismal months to get through. So a long deadline to achieve this. Anything that's life-changing does take longer than you think. So don't expect immediate results. And just do one thing at a time. Don't give up smoking cigarettes. Go on a simple step each day, as we said earlier. What you do today creates your tomorrow. So if you drink 7 cups of coffee a day, drink 5. If you drink Coca-Cola a day, try sparkling water. One small change can
make
lead
it
to,
achievable.
Yeah, make it achievable. Don't set the bar so high that you fail and then give up.
Yeah.
So little landmarks along the way. That's my advice.
Very good advice. Do you have, is there anything that I've forgotten to say? I've even mentioned that you met my mum. I remembered that. And my mother's writing a book. Well, actually, it's kind of written. We need to finish off the end bit and into personal experience. But yeah, she loved meeting you. And it's so nice to be able to share my life with my mother, my friends, my clients. And I think one thing that we do that's quite similar is we create community. We hold the space for people to get together and community to happen, and for the magic to happen and to set it free. How long do people typically work with you, or does it not work?
3 months. So like
Really?
two sessions a month for around about 3 months. I think it takes around 90 days for the brain to create a new neural pathway. So it's having ongoing support, not quick immediate change, but 3 months is long enough to like if you went to the gym for 3 months, you would start to see some significant results,
Yeah.
not after a week. So when people say, "Can I just have a one-off session with you?" No, it has to be a process of accountability, trying things, coming back, explaining, and learning as you go. So around about 3 months, but then people come back next year, and sometimes if I've known someone for years, they just have intermittent sessions because we've done all the sort of groundwork.
Yeah.
But yeah, usually 3, maybe 6 months.
So again, it's quite similar. I didn't realise that they come in with something and you kind of help them get it off the ground and then empower them to move on rather than create the dependency, which is so
It's the worst business
healthy.
Worst business model ever, though.
Yeah, me too, totally.
You make yourself redundant by doing a good job for
Yeah,
it.
I
I
was
should have gone
talking.
into hairdressing. At least I'd have met back every 6 weeks.
And it's the same that I find with private clients. Now, it's time to build a bridge into real life. So then they go from private clients into men's groups, into community, into practicing who they are now, they no longer need to be, and that's the bridge into life. We have a lot in common,
We do.
and we could gasp for hours.
And if I hadn't been a coach, I would probably be like a matchmaker because I still like to connect people because
Yeah.
connection makes us happy. And to connect the right people.
Yeah.
You know, it's nothing I like more than looking around a room and thinking, oh, I introduced Kenny to that person, but Kenny also introduced me to that person. I love that kind of network. Or literally like we're all in it together and we're all helping and supporting each other. It's such a thrill. When people say they don't like networking, it's like saying, I don't like reading a book. You find the right book, you'll love it.
Exactly.
And it's find the right networking group.
Yeah, yeah. A place to be authentic and share who you are, rather than a place to be a blag and pretend and collude and go home feeling empty and cheap.
We've all been there.
And on that note, surely it's good night from me.
And it's good night from me.
So cool to hang out. Thank you, Caroline.
You're welcome, Kenny. Thank you so much.